Cloudcast Media.
Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and it is always a great day when we have our friends in from the San Diego Women's Foundation chat about the amazing things that this organization has done for many, many years. And no difference today. We got Rosette Garcia, president of the foundation. How you doing, Rosette?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing wonderfully. I love when you folks are in. How long have you been involved with the foundation?
I think about 10 years. I'm not exactly sure, but going on 10 years for sure.
It goes fast. Joined by your colleague who's a board member of the foundation and the CEO and executive director of Elder Help of San Diego, Deborah Martin. How you doing, Deborah?
I'm doing great, Drew. It's great to be here.
Oh, my goodness. You guys do such great work at Elder Help. We're going to hear from that in a few seconds. How long have you been on the board?
I've been on the board for San Diego Women's Foundation since July, and I have been the CEO of Executive Director for about 13 and a half years.
13 and a half years. I'm here joined by my co-host, Ian Solomon. Ian is a senior at San Diego State, majoring in leadership studies. He's been a co-host now. This is your third or fourth venture? Third? What is it?
Third
one over here, and he's done a great job. I know he's got a question for you, Rosette.
Hey there, Rosette.
Hi.
I was wondering if you could tell me a little bit about the mission of the San Diego Women's Foundation.
I'd love to. So the San Diego Women's Foundation has a mission to connect, educate, and inspire women to come together in collective philanthropy, but with a purpose. And that purpose is to build a more equitable San Diego region where everyone can thrive.
You know, the collective philanthropy has been the DNA of the foundation ever since it was founded a zillion years ago. And it's just such a brilliant strategy. And Ian, what it is, the members contribute X amount of money and they pool it. Some of that money goes into a fund that grows, so to speak, and the rest goes to whatever is going to be distributed with the cause. And what I love about it is that you folks, when you pick that topic, and we're going to talk about that pretty shortly with Deborah, is that it's not doling out $5,000 or $2,500, which is important. For some nonprofits, that is their entire office supply budget for the year, and we get that, okay? But it's more of a footprint, so some of it will be $25,000 or whatever the case may be on whatever the topic is, and Rosette can talk about it. But Elder Help, what's the mission of what you folks have been doing? 13 and a half years, you said, Deborah?
I've been there. The Elder Help is founded in the basement of a church in South Park. We're 52 years old this year.
Right.
All of our programs or services are geared with helping seniors remain in their homes and their communities as safely and affordably possible. So everything we do with about 27 staff, including a lot of degreed social workers, over 350 volunteers, we're in the homes. I would say we're a little nonprofit making a big impact.
It's a huge impact, and anybody who does anything about the senior world in this world for that matter, but especially in San Diego, one of the things, then we're all going to be there. It always amazes me. Well, why don't you want to help out? You're going to be there one of these days, for God's sake. So you might as well just start getting engaged, whether you're 24 years old or you're, 74 years old or whatever the case. Isolation is something that has been talked about, especially quite a bit in recent years. Not that it didn't happen 30 years ago. Talk about isolation as a real challenge with seniors, if you could, Deborah.
Absolutely, especially for our clientele. I would say our clientele, the average are 70 to 80 years old. It's usually female, renting, living on a fixed income. Oftentimes they're widowed. And they have really been cut off from their relationships and their contacts, especially if they've lost their license, which can sometimes be the first step to really starting to retreat from their friends and family. So everything we do, like I said, is a care coordination. We're going in the home. We're assessing what they need. We're creating a care plan for them. We're setting them up with friendly visitors and companionship. We're getting them transportation and medical. We're helping pay their bills, maintain their house, walk their dog. They seem like small tasks, but these are all tasks that do keep them from retreating in isolation and then all of the health issues that correspond to that. And it's significant. And our senior population is the fastest growing segment of the San Diego County right now, and anticipated to be about a quarter of our entire population in the next 5 years. Yeah. So it's a very important part of our community that we need to be paying attention to, in my opinion.
Well, and we better be paying attention to it as in now. You don't pay attention to it after it becomes into a crisis situation. Rosette, maybe you can explain, as we do all the time when we have the foundation on, how the cycle works, the funding cycle. When it starts, how do you identify which topic you're going to do, and then the process for going ahead and granting some of the money?
Oh, sure. So at any given, in any year, we're actually doing three things. One thing that we're doing is we have a committee that is doing research on emerging current needs in the county. And they're coming up with a list of topics or issue areas that we might want to consider for our next grant cycle. So that's one thing we're doing. The other thing that we're doing is we're actually reviewing grant applications on the current topic area or priority topic. And that's what we're doing now as well. It's on a different topic. It's not loneliness and isolation in seniors. And then the other thing that we're doing in a year is we're actually granting the money on the previous priority issue, which, and then we're working with those community partners, we call them community partners, that are currently receiving San Diego Women's Foundation grants.
Right. And you folks, well stated. And it was mentioned earlier a little bit of the involvement for the members. Their money is going to go to an endowment, right? And you've been working on this for a while. How big is your endowment now?
It's now, we're very proud and happy to say that it's a little over $5 million.
That's fantastic. And it makes all the sense in the world. So I think at the time, it shows you how old I am. I pretty much, had the foundation on as soon as we started our show here. Linda Katz was heavily involved, of course. I think she was my first person I interviewed there. Tracy Johnson was the director at the time. So I'm dating myself a little bit. It's before you were born. I'll just tell you that right now, Ian. But it was a $2,000 commitment a year, and tried to get a 5-year commitment on it. But they saved aside, okay, 1,000 of it, or whatever the number was, would go to the endowment. You do that for 20 plus years, you're going to save some money. And that's just a phenomenal idea of this collective philanthropy.
Yes, it was amazing vision on the part of those founders to decide to take a portion of the members' contributions and put them aside into this endowment in order to ensure that the Women's Foundation could be sustained over a long period of time. And we're now 25 years old. We're just at the end of our 25th birthday celebration. And it's been great. And it's been just really inspiring. Actually, we've been in touch with a lot of our founders, many who are still members. So it's just been a great year.
Yes, I say this all the time when you're on, so I'm boring the heck out of my listeners, which I do quite a bit, actually.
I doubt that.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But so when Tracy was here, I said, I've got no men involved in the foundation. Drew, it's a women's foundation. I said, I'm going to put a little bit of a protest. You know what? We're going to start an auxiliary men's part of this. You can be the first member. And I was. I'm not sure how many years ago that was in that aspect of it. But in all seriousness, you've certainly worked with so many different groups in this area.
Yeah. Drew, we actually do have male members, and while our name is the San Diego Women's Foundation, we are open. Anyone can become a member.
Very
and
good.
Support us. So
I had some influence, which I rarely do in anything else in the thing I do.
So join us again, Drew. Join us again.
I
and
think
you too, Ian.
I think exactly. And down with Rosette Garcia, president of the San Diego Women's Foundation, joined by her colleague Deborah Martin, a board member of the foundation and the CEO and executive director of Elder Help of San Diego. I'm Drew Schlosberg. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest running community podcast. We are in our 20th year. Very proud of that. Sponsored by Mission Fed Credit Union, 60 years of doing doing great things in the community, whether it's food insecurity, whether it's literacy, you name it, they're heavily involved. I know Ian has another question for you, Rosette.
I was wondering how you guys were working to address the affordable childcare crisis.
Right. So that is the priority topic for this coming year. And so what that, hang on one second.
Yeah. And that was one of the ones, as you mentioned, where the group will sit there and say, here are the topics we want to address. There was
Correct.
Isolation in women. That was one where the elder help was involved in. This one's that when I've had all of you folks on before, some of the discussion can be a little bit rousing, as they say, about which topics you're going to choose, correct? Because there's a lot of topics out there.
Yes. And I will tell you that it's often a little bit, I don't want to say, it's heartbreaking sometimes when,
yes,
because you pick one topic, or in the case of when we're granting funds, we have to select certain organizations, and we only have a finite amount of money.
Right.
And so while it's always a little bittersweet, like we're so thrilled at the organizations that we're able to fund, and also very sad about the organizations that didn't make the cut. And it's the same with choosing a topic, because there is so much need. And I serve on that committee that does the research and then proposes the topics to the membership. And you start to have a favorite. You start to sort of really feel invested in a topic. And then if it doesn't get the majority of votes from the membership, even though the topic that was picked is a very worthy topic, it's sad, because you'd like to be able to respond to all the needs. But with regards to affordable childcare, our granting is what we are planning to do is to support nonprofits working to maintain the health and well-being. I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. Sorry. I have it here.
Yeah.
We will award funding to organizations who are working to expand affordable, accessible, high-quality childcare for infants and toddlers 0 to 4 years old.
Yeah, and it is a crisis out here, and we know that as it is with the seniors in isolation, as it is with food insecurity. 800,000 plus people go, every single day, some of them without 3 meals during the day. So we have a lot of these things here, and I think it's good. But I want to get back to something I think you guys are sort of short-selling a little bit of your unbelievable membership, Rosette, is the fact that you might choose these great topics, right? Mm-hmm. And so you might have 10 organizations that fall under affordable, child care crisis, or they might fall under isolation and the seniors aspect of it. But the fact that they were actually vetted by you folks now has somebody in your organization to say, we might have not chosen elder help, you happen to do it in this case, but somebody's going to be interested. Okay, and get involved in it. And now their name is out there. And you guys, your group is just so engaged in the community. Just having their names in the mix is good. Certainly being funded is even better. But when you have it in the mix, and that's what we like to do on our show, people just need to be aware of that aspect of it. So, and I know, having talked to folks at the foundation over the years, is that so many of you wind up either getting involved in volunteering for an organization that they've seen this go through the mix.
Yes, absolutely. And part of that has to do with the fact that the way that we work as a granting organization is that we're really focusing on partnering and collaborating with our grantees. Again, we call them our community partners. And one of the things that we do is we have members who volunteer to be liaisons to each of our grantees. And they spend the term of the grant cycle. And in some cases, our grantees receive our funding for 1 year, or they can elect to get them over a 2-year period.
Right.
And so that liaison is in contact with that community partner over the term of the grant. They're attending their events. They're having regular meetings. And these are not meant to be burdensome to the community partners. It's really just to develop a relationship and to just just to note that we're there and we're supporting that organization.
Yeah, and then with all our touch points, we come back from break. We're gonna, I know Ian's got some other questions for you on that, Rosette, but I also want to chat more about Elder Help, and some of the work that they're doing, of course, specifically, and that what our listeners can do to get engaged in it as well. And then we'll have Deborah be thinking about it. What was your reaction when you got the call from Rosette or whomever and said, we are granting you X amount of money? Think about that when we return with Rosette Garcia. She is the president of the San Diego Women's Foundation, joined by her colleague, Deborah Martin, a board member for the foundation and the CEO and executive director of Elder Help San Diego. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, joined by my co-host, Ian Solomon, a senior at San Diego State in Leadership Studies. And we will be right back after this short break.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and you're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. You are the nation's longest-running community podcast in our 20th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. Always a great day when the San Diego Women's Foundation is in the house. We got Rosette Garcia, president of the San Diego Women's Foundation, joined by one of the grantees, and that is the Elder Help of San Diego. Got the CEO and executive director, Deborah Martin, with us. She is also a board member with the foundation, joined by my co-host, Ian Solomon, senior at San Diego State in Leadership Studies. He's got a question for Rosette, but we're going to have him hold on to that thought just for a few seconds here. So Elder Help, okay? So you've spent a lot of time, you put together your proposal, you had to go through some vetting and all that. Oh, we made the next cut. We're going to make this one. Oh, we made another cut. And now, what was it like when you got that phone call?
Well, obviously it's amazing. I mean, we work hard to raise money. Every year we go out, we raise over $2+ million, and 35% of our revenue is grants. We do almost 100 of them a year. So we're constantly out there trying to create a pipeline. And the San Diego Women's Foundation has been such a huge player in this space for so many years. They're not just a grantee organization, as Rosette said, but they get involved with the organization. They raise money through the year. They have a liaison. They draw a lot of attention to us and our cause. So it's absolutely amazing to get the phone call, not just the amount of money, which any amount for a small nonprofit is huge, but $60,000 they granted us, but also the relationship part and the tie-in. And they do like to see community members represented in their membership and on their board. So our director of philanthropy is a member. I am now on the board. And we love that they're bringing in these outside community member voices to help shape some of the work that they're doing. Because it's different out there in the nonprofit world than in the foundation world or the for-profit. And I really applaud the San Diego Women's Foundation for making that an important part of their membership.
Yeah, so I've been involved in a whole bunch of nonprofits over my 6 zillion years on this planet. And what I love about what the foundation does, because they get it, the money is for operations, okay? And correct me if I'm wrong, but are there strings attached to that money?
No, so actually during the pandemic, we moved to what is called trust-based philanthropy. And what that means is that all of our funding is unrestricted funding.
100%.
Which means that when we grant money to an organization, we certainly thoroughly vet them, and we want to make we want to make sure that the work that they are doing closely aligns with our priorities. But once we've granted them the money is theirs for them to use as they see best, because they are the experts in the field. We are not. And so we trust them to know how to deploy our funds in the most effective and efficient way possible.
Yeah. It's kind of like a support system in a way.
Exactly.
Well, what it is, Ian, and for so many years, folks that would grant money to nonprofits put restrictions on it, and that's fine. But you do realize the people that have to execute those projects do need to get paid, okay, and do need the support. So we're starting to see more and more folks understand. No, we trust the organization. Rosette's point is we vetted them. They're not frivolous with their money. They're doing this with a skeleton staff. Are you kidding me? You know better than anybody. And I'm so glad to see more and more groups are going that way, as they need to be, having been involved in all these different, nonprofits and that. Before we go over to, we will get that question to you, Ian. You could, Rosette, hold on to it. But I do want to talk about something that was one of the things that made you proud. Talk about the story about the woman who passed away with the ashes.
Oh, gosh.
Please.
That's going to be hard for me. I haven't told that story in a long time. When you asked me that question, I was thinking about it. I just think one of the amazing things about elder help is because we are small and nimble, we can decide how we want to respond to things, and we can take the time. Sometimes it takes a long time to get the solution or the outcome we want, but our staff are empowered to do that. We're not checking boxes. We're not trying to meet some deliverable from some county contract or whatnot. We're really just trying to create a meaningful solution. And we had this woman, she was actually an exotic dancer, and she didn't have any Social Security or fixed income. She had her home. We helped her make it into a charitable annuity for herself so she could live off the proceeds of that. And she had no family that we were aware of. So we found her a roommate to live with her. We found her some care. We also had her as a client for many, many years. She passed away. She was cremated. She always wanted to be on the ocean, in the ocean. There wasn't even anyone to claim her ashes at the mortuary, which was heartbreaking to me. So our staff went and picked them up. And at that time, we had a new partnership with Southwestern Yacht Club. And I called a member I knew there and said, we have a client that we would like to take out to sea and give her a proper send-off. Will you take us out? And they said yes. So somehow our staff managed to track down the niece and her husband living somewhere in Arizona. They drove out, and 5 of us and the niece and her husband, we set out on the boat past Point Loma and got out there, and we scattered the ashes, said a few words, tossed out some flowers. And I think that story is the epitome of who we are, especially for people that don't have family. We want to be there and show up for that.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't get chills on that story, then they need to be checked in and make sure your heart is working in this aspect of it. That's a great story. Deborah, as we chat with our friends of the San Diego Women's Foundation and Elder Help of San Diego, Rosette Garcia is the president of the foundation. Deborah Martin is not only a board member of the foundation and CEO and executive director of Elder Help of San Diego. Very compelling story. Ian, guess what?
Is it time?
It is time to ask a question of Rosette.
Yes, I kind of wanted to go back. We were talking about the topics earlier, and I was just kind of wondering, are there any topics that you see come up regularly? If they don't get chosen, are they like almost the next time around? Are they brought back up?
Yes. And in fact, that is, so the committee that does the research every year, we do, especially if we have had a very close vote in the last year, and where it's been sort of almost, it's just been like a very, very close number of votes that split the difference between the first and the second place winner topic. We bring that topic back again. And there have been actually a couple of topics that we keep taking back to the membership, hoping that maybe they'll bite, if you will. And I won't mention those couple of topics, but they haven't made it to become a finalist. No.
Hopefully we'll hear about them soon then.
Yes. But it's always, whatever we're focused on, it's a worthy topic for us to be.
Yeah, and they're impactful. Obviously elder help, $60,000 is, people who don't think that makes things go, don't know how nonprofits operate, obviously, in that. And again, more importantly, that is the endorsement from the San Diego Women's Foundation, almost like the Good Housekeeping seal. There's a lot to be said about that. You folks are very thoughtful of how you use your money and
Yes.
How you do it. And if you've been endorsed by the San Diego Women's Foundation, just to even make it to the final round is a good deal. But even to be granted is absolutely huge on that. So how do people get a hold of you? What is the website for Elder Help? And what can our listeners do to even ramp up even more what the foundation has done?
We almost need everything. Our website is www.elderhelprepresanddiego.org. We always need donations. We have an Amazon list on Amazon to support our pantry. We have an awesome food pantry that supplements the other meal programs in San Diego. Volunteers, absolutely. 80% of our in-home services are delivered by our amazing paraprofessional volunteers. And you ask all of them, they give more than they get. I mean, they get more than they give. They just think the honor of being a volunteer is spectacular.
So will you promise me, as we're going to always have the foundation on at least once a quarter. We just love having them on all the time. But would you like to come back on somewhere down the road and bring in a couple women that have benefited from the elder help work you've done?
I've been absolutely honored to do that, Drew.
Consider that a done deal on this. Any final comments, Rosette?
Well, I would be remiss if I didn't point out, of course, that Elder Help was one of our grantees this year, but I'd like to just mention the others.
Please.
Bayside Community Center, an awesome organization.
Frequent guest on the show.
Casa Familiar down in San Isidro, doing excellent work down there, and serving seniors.
Yeah, all of these I've been on the show. I love it. Great choices in that aspect, and of course, the ones that didn't make the cut also doing phenomenal work as well. And there's another one in there.
No. And if I could, I also just want to say that you can find us at sdwomensfoundation.org, and if you want to help us not be heartbroken at the end of every year when we cannot grant all of our worthy organizations, you can make a donation or you can become a member. And like I said, we're open to membership for anybody.
And what's the website?
sdwomensfoundation.org.
Well, Rosette, thank you so much. We just love having the foundation on, and we're going to look forward to Deborah Martin. Do you make a return appearance with a couple of the folks that have benefited from that? We'll work on that down the road. Ian, always impressed with the work you've done as a co-host, and you're a veteran at this now. What do you think?
I still feel like a rookie.
Started. Listen, I consider myself a rookie even 20 years later. Anyway, thank you so much, Rosette and Deborah.
It's been a privilege.
It's been our honor as well. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, the nation's longest-running community podcast, brought to you by the amazing folks of Mission Fed Credit Union, 60 years of doing great things for people in San Diego County. And to our audience, we hope you enjoyed the interview.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.